Hello, everyone, and welcome to Mandela Unveiled. My name is Mandela, and this is a channel where we talk everything health. We look at the issues in society that can impact your health, issues that you probably do not know can have an impact on your health. And this is where we delve deep into such issues. Please subscribe to our channel, like, share, and leave a comment in the comment section on anything that you want us to discuss. Today, I am going to discuss with you and bring your attention to something probably most people do not probably look at, and that is the economic impact on your health. All we always think about is inflation and the economy, how inflation is driving up prices, how inflation is making everyone feel uncomfortable. But have you ever wondered how this inflation impacts your health? How the inflation impacts your mental health? Well, I'm here to let you know that with all the economic problems around the world, in your country, they have impact on your mental health, your physical health. Before the COVID-19 pandemic, most countries in Africa were struggling. As a matter of fact, citizens were struggling. And after the pandemic, things have become worse. A report released recently by the International Monetary Fund in mid-October stated that by the end of this year, most African countries would have inflation in double figures. And this includes countries such as Nigeria, Ethiopia, that have very large populations. But have we ever wondered how these economic problems, how this inflation impact our health? For instance, it has been reported that there has been a 10 to 20% increase in prices of goods and services in the East African sub-region. Now, when there is inflation, most of the countries in Africa, their currencies have depreciated against the US dollar, the major trading currency. And this increases prices of medicines. And people who go to buy medicines, the price of the medicines increase. Have we ever wondered, or have we ever asked ourselves, a mother who goes to the market to buy, or goes to a pharmacy to buy medicine for her child, medicine that she originally thought was probably 1 shilling, 100 naira, 1 cedi, maybe 100 rand, goes to the pharmacy and is now 5 shillings, up from 1 to 5, from 1 cedi to 5 cedi, from 100 naira to 500 naira. That is going to have a toll on the mental health of such a mother. And if that mother is able to buy the medicine, her mind may be at peace. But once such a mother doesn't have the money, then she goes deep into depression, and subsequently, most of these people become suicidal. And studies have linked maternal depression to children. And this is the situation of most citizens in Africa. Most citizens are walking the streets with mental health issues because governments have increasingly taxed the citizens to poverty. Government have increasingly lifted certain policies that were implemented by their predecessors to make lives a little bit better for citizens. A typical example was the removal of fuel subsidies in Nigeria by Tinubu. There were a lot of people who defended him. All those who could benefit from the government had every reason to defend. But you look at the bigger picture, everything became a mess in Nigeria. Ghanaians right now are being taxed to death. According to the World Bank, in 2022 alone, 850,000 Ghanaians are pushed into poverty. Meanwhile, in Ghana, 7 million people already live under the poverty line. In fact, 7 million people are in poverty. And that was 2022, 850,000. And by now, the figure has risen more than that. And even according to WEGO, a non-profit organization in Ghana, WEGO stands for Women in Informal Employment. They also believe that these statistics could even be more than that. So we are looking at probably 8 million Ghanaians who live in poverty right now. And you see, in Africa, most people work in the informal sector. I can use Ghana as an example. In Ghana, about 89% of people employed are in the informal sector. And once you're in the informal sector, you do not have any pension benefits. You do not have any government incentives. You don't get any nothing. So once all these taxes, fuel prices increment, and all the economic policies that these economists would impose on the citizens, people break down mentally. It comes with no surprise that Africa bears the burden of all mental health illnesses in the world. And suicide is on the rise in most African countries. Recently, a lot of people have hanged themselves on high tension poles in Ghana. In Nigeria, some people have jumped off bridges because they have been pushed beyond limit. Another report by WEGO indicates that about only 5% of workers in Ghana have received some form of benefit from the government. And in that same report, most workers skip meals in a day, and they only make do with a variety of foods. You can imagine workers skipping meals. That is because they are thinking about the family. They are thinking about what they should give back to their wives and children at home. So a worker who skips meal, where would they have that peace of mind? Their psychological makeup is disrupted. Most of these people live with post-traumatic stress disorder because of what they go through daily. People cannot feed themselves. They can't feed their families because they have to skip meals. That is the situation of the African. And these situations impact the mental health of the African. But this is something probably we do not always count. Whenever we talk about inflation and all that, we talk about goods and services. We talk about how factories are, but we should also think about the mental health of the citizens. A healthy population will become productive. A non-healthy population certainly would leave the continent where it is. And Africa has the youngest population, and it's expected to grow even younger. Why don't African leaders see this demographic dividend and harness it? Instead, African leaders want to tax their citizens. They're insensitive, hiding behind COVID-19 pandemic, Russia-Ukraine war, and some of them have started using the Israel-Hamas war as an excuse. Please, you need to wake up because your citizens are walking mental health. Your citizens are walking on the street with a lot of, I just don't know the word to use. But mental health is real. Everything is increasing but salary. The Auditor General's report in Ghana indicated that every 5 workers you take, 4 out of the 5 workers earn less than 3,000 Ghana cedis, and that is $260 a month. Jesus Christ, $260 in a month. Every 5 workers you take. I am not saying it. This is the Auditor General's report in Ghana. Every 4 workers, out of every 5 workers, 4 out of the 4 or 4 out of the 5 earn less than $260 a month. That is 3,000, less than 3,000 Ghana cedis. Another online survey which seek to look at only like the educated people in Ghana found out that about more than half of the respondents, these are people who probably have gone to the college, university, have achieved either a master's, a bachelor's, or a PhD degree, earn less than or about 5,000 Ghana cedis a month. And when the study went further to ask how much people in that age group, around 35 years, have saved in their lifetime, people could not even save up to 10,000 Ghana cedis. That is $860 in their lifetime. In their lifetime. And this study was conducted by an analyst called Jerome Kose. This tells us that we have a serious mental health crisis in Africa. To have the prices of goods and services skyrocketing every day. Meanwhile, salary remains stagnant. You go to a market to buy something for 100 naira. You go back the next day, that same thing is 200 naira. You go to buy something today at, you not even the same, you buy something 1 cedi, walk away 5 minutes, come back and it's 1 cedi is 50 pesos. This has a heavy toll on the mental health of the citizens. Not to talk about the Ghana health insurance. Recently, I read on Al Jazeera when they were doing their interviews in Ghana, and a diabetes patient indicated that she has to visit the hospital for her diabetes medication. And although she has the health insurance card, anytime she visits the hospital, she has to pay 100 Ghana cedis for medication. Probably she has the money. What about those who don't have the money? That means she has to go back home without the diabetes medication. There are a lot of people back in Africa. Africa bears all the burden of all disease. In fact, the non-communicable disease, Africa bears all the burden. Diabetes, hypertension, name it. And the reason why most people are not able to visit the hospitals, and it's not that they don't want to visit the hospitals. Everybody loves life. There is no one who doesn't love life. Everybody loves life. If you see someone hesitating to go to the hospital, it's not because they don't want to go. But when you go dig down, you realize probably they don't have the money. Because most part of Africa is out of pocket payment. And even countries like Ghana that claim to have a health insurance, it's dead. People have to pay. You go to the hospitals, you have the health insurance, but you have to pay. Even if they give you the services, you have to move out to a pharmacy to buy the medicines. All these things take a toll on the mental health of people. And once you tax the people, prices of drugs increase. People can no longer buy drugs from the pharmacy or the drugstore. People die in their homes. People who used to receive diabetes medication for 10 cedis or 100 naira, now it's increased from 10 cedis to 50 cedis because there's a 40 Ghana cedi increment. They can't purchase the diabetes medication. So they stop taking the medication. People have to go for dialysis. And they have to pay 700 Ghana cedis anytime they go for dialysis. Some people are paid 500 Ghana cedis in a month. Some people do not earn anything. They just earn peanuts. I don't know if I'm bringing your mind to something. So you see how the inflation, the economic hardships, the impact it has on the health of the citizens. Recently, I saw a post and I read online and I saw how people in the ruling government in Ghana were happy that inflation has fallen from a very high figure to another high figure within the 20s. People were jubilating. That has nothing, it has no impact in the life of the ordinary citizen in the informal sector. With all the jubilation, are you going to cut down on the taxes that are pushing a lot of people into poverty? Are you going to cut down the high fuel prices? For crying out loud, these elite government officials, these politicians, the managers of government corporations do not know what the ordinary citizen out there feel. Your citizens are walking mental health patients. They are only sustained by the grace of God. A lot of people out there are sick. So when people wake up every day and they say the youth are abusing tramadol and all, they have to abuse it because that is the only way they can get some form of satisfaction in life, because they've lost all hope in life. When the youth go to the betting centers and you tell them not to bet, oh, I bet you even have more mental health people on the street. And when we talk about mental health, happiness does not define mental health. So now, do we understand? Dear politician, dear economist, do you understand how your poor and bad economic policies push a lot of people to develop mental health issues? Push a lot of people to die prematurely because they cannot purchase drugs? Push a lot of people into acts that they did not even intend to go into? I do not have any statistics, but I can bet you most of the things that the youth do in Africa is as a result of the economic policies that are implemented. Every time I find it funny when the Minister of Health in Ghana read the budget and keep mentioning GDP. The man in the informal sector doesn't care about your GDP. He doesn't even know what the GDP is. I don't even know what the GDP is, unless I go read it. And most people in Africa, they only feed when they go out and come back. You know, these are realities. These are issues we need to confront. If not, we will wake up one day and the youth, their mental health will be gone. This is Mandela on Mandela Unveiled. Thank you for listening to my YouTube channel. If you like what we are doing, make sure to subscribe, share, like, and leave a comment in the comment section. Whatever topic that you want us to explore, we will dive right deep into that and bring you all the best of analysis. Thank you for tuning in. God bless us all. Thank you. Bye-bye.